Your Honor, at this time, I would like to dictate some agreed stipulations that the parties reached into for a final order.
Okay.
And pursuant to the genetic test result report that was filed with the court September 6, 2023, the parties have agreed to adjudicate Mr. Asfar Nafi Talukder as the father of the child in the suit Lilac Sophia Himenas, and that the parent-child relationship be established for all purposes. The parties have agreed to a modified possession order for Mr. Talukder to have with the child in with 4 phases. Phase 1 being on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of the month, beginning at 1 to 5 p.m. supervised by Ms. Hemanus or an adult designated by Ms. Hemanus, with 4 of those types of possessions to be completed before moving on to phase 2. Phase 2 is 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of each month from 1 to 5 p.m. unsupervised for 4 periods of possession. Phase 3 would be 8 to 5 p.m. on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday of each month, unsupervised for 4 periods of possession. Phase 4 would be 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturday at 6 p.m. and ending 6 p.m. on Sunday for 4 periods of possession. After that is completed, Mr. Talukder will have a standard possession order with the child. The parties have agreed to a geographic restriction to be Galveston and its contiguous counties, and that Ms. Hemanus will be the conservator to designate the residence of that child. The parties have also agreed to child support in the amount of $241 per month to start October
241.
241.
Thank you.
$241 per month starting October 1st, 2023, and like payments thereafter. Parties have agreed that Ms. Hemanus will apply for government medical assistance and that Mr. Talukder will pay cash medical support of $63 per month starting October 1st, 2023. Mr. Talukder will also be ordered to pay court costs as billed directly to the Galveston County District Clerk's Office on or before April 30th of 2024. The parties have also agreed to completely disclose their identifying information on the order as well. The parties have also stipulated to the calculation of child support being based on $1,400 per month of Mr. Talukder's earnings. At this time, Your Honor, the contested issues include the last name of the child, the conservatorship of the child, and retroactive child support at this time. And I would like to call Ms. Hemanus as my first witness.
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, please, what's your relationship to the child in the suit?
I'm the mother.
Okay. And how old is your child?
She's about to be 9 months.
Okay. And you, before we begin with the contested issues, you heard me dictate what you and Mr. Talukder agreed upon for a final order, correct?
Yes, I did.
And is that your agreement today, ma'am?
Yes, I guess. Yeah.
You're asking the court to adopt those as orders of the court today?
Yeah.
Okay, and the issues that we're presenting before the judge include the conservatorship of the child, the last name of the child, and also retroactive child support, which is back child support, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and ma'am, let's start with the, what's the child's current last name?
Hemanus, my last name.
Okay, and what is your objection with the child's last name changing to reflect Mr. Talukder's last name?
I mean, he doesn't have her at all, so I have her custody 24/7 with me. I feel like she should be able to have my last name.
Okay.
I'm the one that takes over physically and mentally, so.
And Ms. Hemanus, has there ever been a prior case involving you and your child with Mr. Talukder?
No.
Okay, so is this the first case that's been open and filed with the court?
I'm sorry, what's her answer? Yes or no? I couldn't understand that.
It was no.
She was said no.
I still can't understand you, ma'am. Let me try the headphones. You're coming up very muffled somehow.
I said no, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You make
Okay. Thank you. And ma'am, is your child at an age where she would be able to, where she would be affected by the change, the last name being changed?
Not really, no.
Okay. And ma'am, do you have an objection with the child's last name, including both your name and Mr. Talukder's last name?
I mean, I would prefer it just be my name.
Okay. And ma'am, regarding the conservatorship, who is the person who makes the day-to-day decisions regarding your child?
Me.
Okay. And how involved would you say is Mr. Talukder in the upbringing of your child?
Not really involved.
Okay. When was the last time that he saw her?
Like a week or two ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago, 2 weekends ago.
Okay. And can you describe to the court what type of decisions have you had to make since the birth of your child?
A lot. Like, I'm a single mom. I just do it by myself, and I sometimes occasionally babysit. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Have you had,
yeah.
Ms. Jimenez, have you had to make any medical decisions concerning your daughter?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Okay. Have you had to make any decisions that would affect your child's physical ability?
No, ma'am.
Has there ever been any physical violence?
There was no physical violence.
Okay. Has there been any emotional violence or abuse? I apologize. Any emotional abuse between you guys?
Not until the last day. Well, from my side to her, I yelled at her on our last day when we broke up because I was tired of taking it all in. That's
Okay.
I'm
when
sorry, you were tired of what? I'm sorry.
I was the relationship. I felt like it was toxic. I would, whenever she would yell at me, I would just hold it in. And on our last day, I let it all out, and that's when we broke up.
And Mr. Talukder, do you believe you would be able to co-parent with Ms. Jimenez?
I would like to.
Okay. Since the birth of the child, though, has there been what you would call good co-parenting between the two of you?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
We tried to, but it just keeps falling out because.
And what, since the birth of the child, makes you believe that you have not had a good co-parenting relationship?
I would continuously ask for visitation, and a lot of times she would ask for money after she said she would let me, and then sometimes she wouldn't let me see Lilac after that.
Okay. And so as far as Ms. Jimenez's ability, do you believe that she has the ability to make decisions for your daughter? That she's
Yeah, she does. But I wish to also share that.
okay.
Like,
And please make sure you speak up when you speak, because sometimes you're trailing off at the end and I'm not sure what you're saying at the end of your sentences.
It's my phone. It's my phone. It's the speaker.
Yeah,
It's my microphone on the
that's okay.
my.
I'm gonna make my louder.
And so, Mr. Talukder, you heard Ms. Jimenez request a retroactive child support in this suit since the birth of the child, correct?
Yes, I've heard about that. Yes.
Okay. And she did mention that you did provide support to her directly through Cash App.
Yes, I did. And I also supported the baby through other means of buying products. But yes, mostly through Cash App. I'd say 80% of the money I sent was through Cash App.
Okay. And just for clarification, you said you supported the child through what other means?
Just like other things that I bought for the baby and stuff. From clothing to car seat to breast milk. Just a few things, but mostly I wanted to be more involved, but I couldn't. So I would just send the money to Zoe whenever she requested.
Okay. And you heard her testify that you started providing the Cash App funds since about February 4th, 2023, correct?
Yes, we have actually Cash App has all our transactions. And it also has the total amount that I sent.
Okay. And what's the total amount that you sent to Ms. Jimenez?
So there were 2 times where Zoe Jimenez has requested for money and I couldn't personally send it. because I was busy. So a friend of mine sent it. Those 2 times was once $50. Another time was $30, which was just recently through Zelle. And other than that, I've sent well, through Cash App, I have sent, my new total is I think 2,000, it's either 2,584 or no, that's the total. That's the total. On Cash App, it's $1,966.
1,966. Is that what you said?
Yes, yes, on Cash App. The total that I've spent on Lilac together is about 2,867.
And the 2,867 amount that you're including the cash amount, the cash, what
That
you
includes the
sent?
Cash App,
Hold on.
yes.
Give me 1 second. It includes what you sent through Cash App plus what you purchased for the child. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And sir, so that would mean, since Ms. Jimenez is asking for retroactive support since the birth of the child, we're here September 20th, 2023. That's 10 months of support that she's requesting. As far as your earnings, you were earning the $1,400 per month. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And there's no other child in which you have an obligation to support, correct?
yes, yes. ma'am.
Okay. So what Ms. Jimenez essentially is asking is $254 per month for 10 months. Which be 2,540, but you're saying that you've already spent and sent more than that.
Yes, the total that I have the receipts and everything too. It's about 2,867.
Okay. So just for clarification, what are you requesting the court to order regarding the retroactive child support?
I was wondering, it seems like the retroactive child support to me was given because I wasn't supporting my child for those months. Whereas I have proof that I was spending, that's just about 300 a month, I'd say. It's a little over 300 a month that I've been supporting Lilac with.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
So you're requesting that it be zero?
that's what I'm requesting.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I have nothing further of this witness. And I would like to recall Ms. Jimenez if I may.
You may do so.
Ms. Jimenez, can you go ahead and unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. You heard Mr. Talukder testify that he has sent you money through Cash App and has provided support through other means as far as purchasing supplies for the child, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and ma'am, do you object that, has he provided that additional support for the child other than the monetary?
Yes.
Okay, and what means has he provided additional support for the child for?
He bought a car seat and some clothes way before she was even born and gave them to me late. And then he sent me money, but he hasn't sent me the amount he said he sent me. He's looking at the amount on Cash App, but that's way before she was even born because we used to be friends before then.
Okay.
So all that would
For
be
1
my
second, you'll get a
account.
chance.
And then he
And
also sends me
Ms.
money out of
Jimenez?
nowhere and says it's for me. And I didn't expect it for it to be towards the baby, but
Okay, and Ms. Jimenez, let me ask you, so how much has Mr. Talukder provided you since December 22nd, 2022 for the support of the child through Cash App?
I mean, you'd have to give me 1 second to do the math real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, give me a second. Let me get a piece of paper and a pen.
All on Cash App.
And
Sorry.
Mr. Talukder, at this time, you're not being
Yeah.
questioned and you're not a witness. If you could just hang on your commentary. Okay, Ms. Jimenez, were you able to calculate that amount?
1 second, I'm still minusing. Around 1,500.
And ma'am, you heard Mr. Talukder also testify that he sent you child support through the means of someone else's Cash App. Is that correct? Is that a correct statement?
Yes, just those two payments. It was $30 and $50.
Okay, and you did include that in your total amount of the 1,500 that what he has paid you?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, if you can put an amount on the amount of the supplies and the items that Mr. Talukder has provided for your child, how much would that be, including the car seat that you testified to?
Maybe like 300 total. 300, 400.
So in addition to the $1,500 direct payments that he sent you, you're saying that he provided an additional $300 of support through other means other than cash.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time I pass this witness and I have nothing further.
Okay. Ma'am, if I can just clarify with you, what are you saying the other money was for and when was it given to you?
What money? The $30 and the $50?
No, when he looked at Cash App, he thought the number was higher than your number.
Yes,
But
okay,
you
so
said it was
somehow-
directed to you for some reason, but I couldn't hear what you said.
Yes, he thought the number, we have been friends since February 21st, 2022, since the first payment I made to him and he made to me. So I don't think he subtracted our old payments from before the baby. So that's what I just did. And then he also paid me a couple times and he said it was for me. He didn't say it was for the baby. And I have proof of it for saying for me and stuff. So that shouldn't be added onto it because it wasn't used for the baby.
Why would he be giving you money for you after you all separated?
He helped me out to pay my phone bill so he can get in contact with me and Lilac. And then like sometimes out of nowhere he'll send me like 20 and say like, oh, getting back on my feet, or sorry for being late $10. Or
Wouldn't that be included in the number you gave?
Yeah, I did that. I included
Okay.
those, but if I didn't answer him, he'd send me random like $2 or something, you know.
I'll be
But
honest,
I
ma'am, I'm not
included
sure I
it.
understand what you're saying.
I'm saying I included all those, but I actually subtracted the ones that he said that were for me, not for the baby.
Do you have anything further of this witness?
Just very briefly, Your Honor, I did forget to mention that Ms. Jimenez, you're asking the court to include an injunction that states that Mr. Talukder is not that he not consume alcohol or any non-prescribed prescription medications 12 hours before or during the visits of the child, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that would be appropriate to be ordered and in the best interest of the child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have nothing further of this witness, Judge.
Okay. You may call Mr. Talukder again.
Yes. And Mr. Talukder, do you have an objection with the court ordering an injunction which prevents you from consuming your order not to consume any alcohol or any non-prescribed medications 12 hours before or during the periods of possession with the child? You're muted, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. May I add? Okay, yeah, yes. That's
You're okay with including that in the order? Okay. At this time, Judge, I have nothing further.
Okay. The state doesn't represent either of you, so I'm going to give you both a chance to say anything additional that you feel is relevant to the issues before me right now. Mr. Talukder, I guess we'll start with you.
Well, I guess there were a couple things that were kind of off that she said. For example, 20 a week. Well, first she said 1,500 is what I sent to her while we were still friends, I think. Or was that the total amount that I'm not sure if she meant that was the amount that I sent before Lilac's birth or after her birth, but I did actually subtract the total amount that what's it called, that I gave her before Lilac's birth, which was $135. And I know I interrupted, what I was trying to say was that all the transactions are visible on Cash App. and it shows that I only paid 135 before that. She said that I would also randomly send little small amounts of payments if, like she said in her words, he would send $2. You can't send less than $5 on Cash App. There's another thing she said. She said there were payments that I'd make towards her, like her bond that I paid for. I never paid for her bond. She got a PR bond. She said I provided with clothes. I didn't provide for clothes. I didn't provide her with clothes before her birth. I provided them with her after Lilac's birth. There's just a lot of like inconsistencies. And yeah, that's about it. I also have, as far as what I spent on Lilac, I have proof of every text message that where she's asked for something, the reasons of why I cashed app her were all because of Lilac. And I have proof of that with the text message to the reason. On Cash App, you can write the description of why you're sending the money, and it always have the reason, which was in correlation with what was in our text messages, her asking for help with Lilac.
And Ms. Jimenez, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I actually feel like that he needs to provide proof of income. How are y'all just gonna go about what he says too? And also he said something about you can't send $1 or $2 on Cash App. I have proof of him sending me $2 or $1 on Cash App. And I have proof of him saying that some of the payments weren't for Lilac, some of the payments were for me. And from his phone to mine, saying the amount and what it's for. I don't know where he can't send $5, $2 on Cash App, but you can. He sent me it before. And I feel like he should be forced to get a job instead of just like, if you want to see your kid, I feel like you should be able to get a job and provide more, because $200 is literally not anything compared to what I pay
And
for.
Your Honor, at this time, I am going to object to this testimony. The parties have already stipulated to a final order and the calculation of child support.
No,
It
we need
sounds
to-
like Ms.
And-
Jimenez does not agree at this point.
That's what y'all told me I had to go by. What are you talking about? I said he can pay 200.
Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to object. She stipulated to what the child support, proposed child support calculation was.
Y'all told me his income was based off of, so I had to only get 200 from him. That's what I'm going off of what y'all said.
Sir, are you working right now?
I'm cutting grass at the moment.
Are you looking for other work?
Yes, I would like to. However, with my background history and my lack of experience, it is harder.
And then last time I checked, he told me he wasn't mowing lawns. I have proof of him telling me he got fired or something happened.
That I broke my
How do y'all know
equipment
for
and my
sure? That's it.
equipment.
How do you know?
And I
Like
also
he
mentioned that I already mentioned that to Terrence.
Okay.
My equipment being broken and that my work has slowed down. for the past month.
He is a lawyer, you know.
Ma'am, after hearing an explanation of what conservatorship is, are you still asking for you to be the sole managing conservatorship, or do you think you two could work together on big decisions?
is that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I would like to be the sole custody or
You don't
sole-
think you can work together to make decisions?
I mean, not really. He's not wanting to cooperate with me. That's the only reason we're in this courtroom. I've tried to do all of this scheduling stuff, coming up with the payment plan with him, but that didn't work. He went behind my back and continued the court stuff. That's on him. He's not the one that's willing to cooperate with me. I didn't want my daughter going through all this because I went through it growing up. And he literally told me at one point that he literally searched up the minimum amount he can give me a month to support our daughter. Like, who admits to searching up that? Like,
I
that's You're literally
I didn't
telling
know.
me,
Am I
you're
allowed
literally
to
telling me,
speak
oh,
right
I'd
now?
rather
Sir,
take
sir,
Am I allowed to speak
okay,
right now?
I guess Ms. Villarreal, at this point, what are you asking for at this point?
Your Honor, we had stipulations that were read on the record. The parties agreed to them before all of this happened at the end of this
Mhm.
hearing. I'm ready for the court, or if the court would allow, to order make a final ruling on this case, Your Honor. Unless the court decides otherwise.
I'll be honest, I really want to order them to take a parenting class, because I think it would very much help their child.
I've already been through parenting classes, by the way.
When did you take a parenting class, ma'am?
When I was pregnant, had no support, and I only raised my siblings, so I wanted to make sure I was doing everything right from newborn up. And I took parenting classes through Anchor's Point for pregnant women, single women.
Did it talk at all about working with the other parent, or was it more about parenting skills with a newborn?
Oh, well, parenting skills with the newborn.
Okay, that's very different than what I'm suggesting, although that's a good class to take as well. I mean, newborns are very hard. And so I'm sure you learned a lot from that. But what I was talking about was more a parenting class geared towards how to co-parent.
I'm also about to be taking parenting classes through CPS, yes.
Is CPS involved in your case right now, ma'am?
Not in my child support case, they're involved with me, but they're about to get the case closed. I'm taking parenting classes so I can get the case closed, yes.
What do you mean
Someone
that they're
lied.
involved with you?
Someone lied and said that I did all these accusations around my kid, but I
Which
don't.
kid?
Lilac, my daughter. And I don't. They've been visiting me and they're trying to get my case closed. They said all I have to do is take parenting classes and then my case will be closed. They've been visiting me every week or two. And yeah. But I
So
keep up with all.
CPS has an open investigation right now regarding Lilac.
Yes.
And to your knowledge, nothing has been filed in court from CPS. They're just,
No, nothing at all. I don't think it's really a big matter to them because sometimes they won't like call me for my visit. They'll skip a week or skip another week or so I don't really
do
know
they
how
know
that-
you're in court right now?
Yes, they do. They know I have court. They were actually trying to get my CPS case closed before court, but they didn't really get to do that because I was in the moving process.
Okay. Ms. Talukder, do you know about this?
No, I know that I heard about that she had a case like months ago. I didn't know that it was still open till this point. She told me that she passed a drug test and that they would close the case after that. So I thought that was it.
I've never talked about my case with him. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, I'm gonna do a temporary order and order you both to take a parenting class. And ma'am, that if you take a class for CPS purposes, it will be fine for this purpose too. But I just want to be sure both of you take a parenting class. I think it's going to be real important. You have a long way to go with this child. She's not even 1 yet. And no matter what I order today, you will have to co-parent. And so I think it's real important that you both move towards that. So I'm going to do a temporary order. I'm ordering that both of you take a parenting class and file the certificate of completion before the next court date. And Ms. Villarreal, this is the 306, so you can go to their website. They have that link to them and you could attach it to the order, and that way they have a place to start with getting a
Yes,
parenting
Judge.
class. Ms. Hemanus, if you really, and I believe you, CPS has probably already provided you with a list for them. Truly, if you're taking one through them, it will do double duty. So just make sure you take a parenting class. And I would advise you to take the one that CPS requires because it might be more detailed than the one on the link. I want to make sure it qualifies for CPS. I don't want you to, well, it wouldn't hurt you to take 2, but I'm not going to require that you take 2. So just make sure whichever one you take qualifies for CPS because it will qualify for me. For the temporary order, I'm going to order a joint managing conservatorship. I'm going to order that the name of the child is Hemanus.
Your Honor, will my last name is
Talukder, sir, if I can finish my ruling before you all ask questions, otherwise I tell my husband this all the time. I had to have a thought process, and if people interrupt it, it falls apart. So let me finish my ruling, please, before you ask anything. It's going to be Hemanus / Talukder. for the last name. And the residency restriction I'm approving within Galveston and contiguous counties. And that will be Ms. Himenas with the right to determine the primary residence within Galveston and contiguous counties. I am not ordering any back child support based on testimony presented. The current child support is going to be set based on your agreement, but I am ordering him into the Choices program. So this temporary order will give him a chance. It's a program that helps people job search, sir. Please be completely honest with them. They do have jobs, but they steer people who have backgrounds into. And so if they're aware of what your situation is and what skills you do or don't have, they can help you. They also, if you need to gain skills and go to classes, they can work with you on that too. So the more honest you are and open with them, the more they can really help you. It's much more than just going to the workforce. This can really help you get where you want to be in terms of getting a job and moving forward with all that. So the agreement, I think, was originally, it was $241 a month. So the child support for the temporary order is going to be $241 each month beginning October 1st of 2023. And the cash medical for the temporary order is $63 a month beginning October 1st, 2023. And Mr. Talukder is ordered into Choices. And that representative is here in the courtroom in a breakout room, so you'll be able to meet with them today before you get off the Zoom hearing. And I'm going to approve and order the phased-in visitation that was dictated into the record. And we'll see where things are when you all come back for final. And I'll wait on the court costs for final trial.
Yes, Judge.
And I'll deny the non-disclosure since everyone's in agreement to give out their personal information. And I'll approve the injunction regarding the non-prescribed medication or alcohol. And thinking, let's give this some time with regard to Choices
Yes, Judge.
and parenting plans, because if he comes back too soon, he clearly won't have a job.
I have a 90-day reset, Judge, is December 18th.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
And that would be at 11:30.
And so please be sure to take a parenting class by then and have it filed with the district clerk for both of you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And the Attorney General's office will draft up a temporary order based on this, and they'll send it to you to review and sign off on. I'm gonna
Your
stop
Honor,
the
may the
recording.
parties step away so they could go back to
Yes.
the breakout room.
Yes, you all may return to your breakout rooms. Thank you for coming and good luck. We'll see you in a few months.